Skyrim, Freedom Play, Intro. Hello, tubers. I played and completed Skyrim when it first came out 12 years ago. I did the whole dragon extermination thing. This time, I'm playing on my own terms, doing whatever I want, which is in contrast to real life, where we do everything because we have to, not because we want to. Total, complete freedom, and here they are. Freedom from dragons. In this playthrough, I'm level 40 and I have yet to embark on the dragon thing. That's because once we start it, the dragons don't go away until we finish the whole thing. I might do the dragon thing once I reach 100 in smithing, so I can smith dragon gear, or I might not, but I'm putting it off for as long as I can. Freedom from sides. I guess it is a human thing to want to belong, but in this current world, it seems less and less fun to belong to something. Politics, sides of a war, religion, sports teams, Apple or Android, whatever. Too many choices, too many sides. We are too inundated with the requirement to choose a side that it becomes outright annoying. They won't stop until we have picked a side. So in my game, no sides. Imperial or Stormcloak? No. Mage, Thief, Companions, or Dark Brotherhood? None of the above. Vampire or Werewolf? No thanks. I'm just being myself. If you explore the lore behind Skyrim, each allegiance will have its own compromises, and I do that in real life, but this is a game. Sure, I'll join some guilds or companions or whatever to unlock certain things like a trainer or a fence, but after that, I won't even do their first mission. In my game, if I don't feel like stealing a ring or following the instructions of someone who is definitely not a nice person, I'm sure that I can live with the consequences. And even if I don't belong to anything, it doesn't mean I'm alone. In one build, I have my follower, which may change as the game progresses. I have a dog that comes with me wherever I go. I have a skeever at home and a daughter. In another build, I have a follower and a goblin I saved from a sacrifice. And at home, I have a bunny and a daughter. In another build, I have a follower and a dog, and since I'm a mage, I might conjure up some undead or something. Sure, sometimes they're more annoying than helpful, blocking doors and repeating annoying lines. But one of the basics in combat is that if we can present multiple targets, not everyone has the bullseye on us. It also feels surreal to be in stealth mode in a cave and my dog is barking every 20 seconds or so. Freedom from must have. In many games, there's this weapon or gear that we need to have to tip the balance of the game. Skyrim has a lot of ways to bypass this must have mentality. There are so many cool items in the game that it is not necessary to have them all. Being able to craft, upgrade, and enchant good weapons on our own frees us from having to get the one of a kind mace or sword or whatever. In Skyrim, if we persevere in our smithing and enchanting skills, we can get to the point where the gear we make and upgrade will beat any collectible gear in the game. And many cool Daedric gear will require a Daedric sacrifice like an innocent follower or dog. So no thanks. I can go without your gear. Given, based on our playstyle, there are items which really help early in the game, but Skyrim is flexible enough that there are a few other ways we can survive and move on without having to absolutely get this or that item. Freedom of choice. Do we want to be a dual wielding stealth elf? Do we want to be an unarmed brawler Khajiit with arrows for long range? Do we want to be a full on mage that knows archery? With enough knowledge of the game and its mechanics, we can be anything we want to be. Perhaps the one thing we cannot run away from is a stealth archer, and I will dwell on this in another video. But up close and personal, we can choose how we dispatch the enemy. Help the enemy with destructive spells, do the two-bladed thing with knives and swords, zap the enemy with our mage staff, bludgeon them with a warhammer. We can choose. And choices go beyond gear. I hate doing pickpocket, but there is a way for me to level up on pickpocket skills without having to actually do the deed. Read a few books, pay some trainers, and we're good. Some people who give missions are clearly not nice people, I have no obligation to follow their instructions or carry out their mission. We all play with moral choices, and Skyrim is good enough that our moral choices do not handicap the game progress. We don't like this person, we can choose not to talk to him. Yes, there will be difficult choices and there are consequences, but the game doesn't railroad us to a position that we didn't want to be in the first place. There might be times when the margin is so thin that it's like 51 to 49% both ways, and that's just how it is sometimes, but this is more the exception than the rule. We don't want to be doing things for the sake of leveling up or completing a mission or getting an item. That's no fun at all, and games are supposed to be fun. Freedom from loot. Yes, there's still a lot of loot, and we need gold, but Skyrim is one game that has ways where we aren't totally chained to the collecting and selling of loot. Skyrim feels more like going on an adventure than schlepping loot from the caves to the traders because there are many ways to improve our loot situation. And there is no compulsion to get this sword or that axe because in Skyrim, we can make weapons and gear that are comparable or even better than the unique gear that come up as rewards. I've stopped playing many games because the loot management has become persistent and annoying, and I'm spending more time collecting, storing, buying, selling, and moving stuff around than doing actual battles. If we choose to be an OCD loot collector and create and display a house full of cool weapons and gear, sure, we can go ahead with that. But if we choose to go on adventures and loot is just a byproduct of those adventures, we can play that way also. Freedom from violence. Well, sort of. After all, Skyrim is a hack and slash game, so there is always that. But not every situation in Skyrim requires us to shoot first. So unless the other side starts it, I don't have to get into that fight. In the few hundred hours into this game, I leave the giants and mammoths alone, and they leave me alone also. There is no must attack requirement. If the insects flying around are not something I need in my potions, I leave them be. Same with the bunnies, foxes, and other fauna who are wise enough to leave me alone. If I can persuade or intimidate my way before having to fight, I'm cool with that also. In my playthroughs, I avoid the bidding of the Daedric gods and getting rid of this follower or that dog. I've reached the point where I do not really need the weapon or gear that they are offering. What? You want me to sacrifice the dog? Uh, Pass. Freedom from boredom. The world of Skyrim is so large that there's always something interesting to do. Just because we don't follow the sequence of missions doesn't mean that we're missing out on a lot. On the contrary, to wander into a cave and to discover loot that I actually like is more fun than going into a mission where we all know it's this unique knife or mace that we are actually not using. The internet and wiki has laid out the Skyrim world very thoroughly that with their help we can find any item or location or character that we want. And yet I am so poor with directions that I just end up wandering around only to discover something else that wasn't the thing I was looking for, but it was still great. Also, my random decision to try the brawler build revealed to me the coolest and most hilarious takedowns of all the builds in Skyrim. The game is so big that even if we wander off the mandatory path, there's always something new to discover. Conclusion. So if in Skyrim you find a stealth archer with a dog and a vampire, sneaking aimlessly around and not quite sure where he'll go next, that'll be me. If you leave me alone, I'll be on my merry way wherever. Don't worry about him, he's having fun. Thank you for your time. I hope this helps your game, and see you soon.